let's go to the next one on Zoom and big layoffs continuing in the tech industry. eBay, latest company, let's put this up there on the screen. They're laying off 500 workers for 4% in total of its overall workforce. So why does that matter? Well, that of course shows e-commerce, and it's just another example of major tech companies that are having to lay off some workers. He said that the company had to do layoffs after examining the macroeconomic environment over the past several months, and he said that the cuts will strengthen eBay's ability to deliver better experiences for its customers, and they're just going to try and focus on the areas where they make the most impact. Not the only one. The biggest probably is the next one here. Let's put it up there on the screen. Zoom. Now, Zoom is announcing layoffs, and that its CEO is going to cut 98% of his pay, including some 1,300 employees, or about 15% of its overall workforce. That isn't just US, that's global in terms of all the people who will be laid off. But I mean, that is just insane. And, you know, look, by the way, his salary was $300,000. So, you know, 98% cut goes down to 6. But in terms of stock and all of that, he's doing just fine. For the people who are at the company and they're losing their wages and their jobs, it's really not. And in a lot of ways, I mean, Zoom and Peloton were like the quintessential pandemic stocks. They were like, this is it. It's going to blow the door off. Work has changed forever. And it's like, yeah, actually, it turns out a lot of people really like hybrid work. Sure, Zoom usage is up, but is it going to take over the world in the way that people thought? Like, no, absolutely not. It was one of those completely narrative-driven things. And so they expanded big time. They had all this stock, they had all this cash infusion, and unfortunately, you know, now they're going to have to lay off a lot of people. But overall, you are just looking at the cost of cheap money, of like a lot of excitement, and all of that was happening in 2020. And when the dam burst and the Federal Reserve raised rates, a lot of people got laid off in the process. Yeah, I mean, and you had a huge stock market, you know, spikes that were driving these massive valuations that led to a lot of companies, a lot of tech companies in particular, that were like the pandemic stocks, a lot of them adding thousands of workers and getting a bit out over their skis. Now they all, well, Apollo, we're sorry, we expanded too fast, but I'm sure that's cold comfort to the workers that are losing their livelihood right now. I think there's a few things to say about this. I thought Derek Thompson, when we had him on, he sort of dug into what's going on with the tech session. Part of it is just like what we said. These were pandemic stocks that when people were at home, they're ordering this and that online, and they're doing all their meetings on Zoom and whatever, these things blew up big, and they're watching Netflix. And now that we're getting back to a more sort of normal time, there has been a natural recession in terms of what's going on with these tech companies. That's part of it. Part of it, he thinks it could be a kind of groupthink where you see other companies doing it. And by the way, you see them being rewarded with their stock price bumping up when they lay off workers, which is kind of gross, but that's the way our economy works. And so that creates an incentive to follow along and say, you know what, I'm also going to cut 5% of my workforce and try to get that stock bump, which inures to executive benefits and shareholder benefits as well. So that could also be part of what's going on here. But it is part of, in my monologue today, I'm talking about some of the weirdness in the economy. And this is one of the stories that is part of that weirdness, because at the same time, as we're seeing these hundreds and hundreds of thousands of tech workers being laid off, we're also seeing lowest unemployment since 1969. Isn't that what it's? Yes. So it's a strange story. And of course, the tech growth of the tech sector has been what has undergirded the rise of an upper middle class. So much of our economy and our culture is geared towards that upper middle class. And now that you see, you know, recession in this one particular sector, that is undoubtedly going to have some, you know, sort of trickle, I don't want to use the term trickle down, but it's going to have cascading ramifications, let's say that. And at the same time, what's growing is actually jobs at the bottom end of the spectrum, service sector jobs, and then also more sort of middle skill nursing and healthcare jobs as well. So it's a strange time where the upper middle class has kind of taken a haircut. Actually, the very wealthy have taken a huge haircut because of how much they're invested in the stock market. And the people in the bottom quintile, because the labor market is so tight, have at least gotten a little bit of a pay raise. Now, is that enough to make up for 4 years of getting screwed over? Not even close. But it is a little bit of a rebalancing that's happening right now, is I guess how I would put it. No question. It's a really weird situation. I'm looking forward to your monologue on it.
Hey guys, ready or not, 2024 is fully upon us now, and Saagar and I have been brainstorming ways that we can really up our game for this critical election.
Yeah, we rely on our premium subs to expand our coverage, to add staff, to upgrade the studio. We just want to give you the best independent coverage of this election, which is possible. So if you can help us out, become a premium subscriber today, breakingpoints.com, or the link is down here in the description video. It really means the world to us, and if you like what we're all about, this is the best possible way to keep us 100% independent, working only for you.